Zeaus Level 1 Upgrade. I bought this Stampede VXL used, however I rebuilt it with a few upgrades already done. I got RPM's wide front bumper, Integy red shock springs, an RPM rear shock tower, and I also got a red paint pen, painted the rims inside the wheels for the wheelie bar, painted Traxxas on the wheelie bar, and on the waterproof receiver box. I also painted the gearbox cover red. But enough of that, let's go ahead and move on to our first upgrade. And here's the first upgrade. The battery expansion kit done by Traxxas. It says for Stampede owners it needs an extra part, 3627. However, I can get away with just using this upgrade as it is. And that is all that's included in the kit. Of course, you get instructions. You get 4 screws, 4 cylinders, 2 new battery posts that are taller, and a foam for your battery. As for that part, 3627, I really do not understand the reason why you would need to get that piece of plastic. If anyone wants to enlighten me, feel free to, but from what I see, it's just a part that hooks back, then goes this way and back down. I don't see how that really does help out. It might help the battery stay in there better, I'm not too sure. But for now, I'm just going to do it without that part. So, moving on to the battery post. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 4-way socket wrench that Traxxas provides you with and simply unscrew this. And I'm just going to show myself doing one side. There's no reason to show me doing both since they're completely identical. Alright, so after that is unscrewed, comes right off. There's this little washer that does come included with the Stampedes. There is the new battery post, and as you can see, compared to the old one, it is much taller. So I'm going to go ahead, feed it through that washer, and screw it all the way back down. Simple as that. With both battery posts installed, I can move on to the rear plate. Now in order for me to reach the screws that hold the plate in, I'm going to have to undo the waterproof receiver box, which is held in with 2 screws, and undo the ESC, which is also held in with 2 screws. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and unplug the ESC. Before I take off the ESC and receiver box, I'm going to go ahead and get a small flathead screwdriver and pry out the rubber cylinder that holds down the wire that connects the receiver box to the servo. Now I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to lift the ESC and the receiver box together, turn it to the side, and lay it in the compartment where the battery would go. Now I can reach the 4 screws that hold in the rear plate. I undid the 4 screws that hold in the rear plate. So it's my choice now if I want to throw them away or keep them for a later date. The kit also includes this block of foam that fits into the back of the battery compartment, just so the battery will be more secure. I went ahead and removed the old one, and I'll be attaching this one to the chassis with double-sided tape. Now that the foam is taken care of, I can move on to the rear top plate. How it is installed is that you get the screws, you feed them through the top, and then you get a cylinder and feed it over the screw. So it goes in between the plate and the chassis, and this is done with all 4 screws. The top plate has been installed, and you can see that it is about ½ an inch higher. The plate used to be flush with the chassis. Now I can go ahead and reattach the ESC and waterproof receiver box. With the wire extended, I can now put the rubber cylinder back into the chassis. Also, the wires that connect the motor to the ESC are going to have to be fed through the space that's in between the back body mount and the rear shock tower, instead of going through the hole like it previously did in the rear shock tower. And this upgrade is complete. Now I can put bigger LiPo batteries into this compartment. However, if I want to put in smaller NIM batteries, they will fit as well and be just as secure. A quick side note. With the added height that the battery expansion kit gives to the ESC, I can no longer have the Millennium ESC fan attached. This will now be pushed completely up to the top of the body. So unless I'm willing to cut a hole into the actual body, I can no longer use this. And that is the level 1 upgrade for Zeaus.